question that everyone always asks is, what is p.o.t.s? What is postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome? So we'll start off with what each word means. Postural means anytime you have a change of posture. So lying to sitting, sitting to standing. That's a postural change. Orthostatic means your inner workings. So your veins, your heart, blood pressure, oxygen levels, those are all your orthostatic systems. There, of course, are many more, but I'll get into that eventually. Tachycardia is another term for very fast heart rate. Walking just every day, my average BPM is 150 beats per minute. And the average person, of course, does not hit that when just walking. And syndrome, of course, because p.o.t.s is not a disease, and it's a syndrome because in some cases you can grow out of it, it can get better, and in other instances it's going to be something that patients will face their entire life, which is why they have categorized it as a syndrome. So there you have it, postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. So what is the criteria for p.o.t.s? 80% of patients are female, making only 10% males. I've actually have had the luck of meeting a male with p.o.t.s, and testosterone is actually a vasoconstrictor, which in layman's terms means it contracts your veins, so it's easier for them to push blood up to their heart. And with p.o.t.s, you actually lose your ability for your veins to contract to push blood up to your heart and brain. So that is why we suffer from a fast heart rate. So when a p.o.t.s patient stands up, your blood goes straight down to your toes. It's kind of cool in a way that our bodies are built to work against gravity. So gravity will push your blood down, and our bodies naturally know how to work against it to get the blood back up. In p.o.t.s patients, our body works with gravity, which is why we suffer from low blood pressure and, of course, the fast heart rate. So when your blood pools in your legs and your feet, you can actually see a change in color. So the blood will pool to the extent that it will start to surface under your skin. So I, most of the time, will get a bluey purple tone from my calves down, and that's an indication that I need to sit down or lay down right now. How do you find out you have p.o.t.s? Now, there are a few different tests that you can do, but really, you kind of have to fit in the picture of p.o.t.s. So p.o.t.s, for some reason, which doctors have not discovered yet, attacks young, fit, healthy females. So what's the test? There is the tilt table test, which I can honestly say is the worst torturous thing I've ever had done to me more than once. So a tilt table is when you get strapped literally to a table laying down. You have your arms out in a T and one arm's attached to blood pressure, and you have heart rate stickers all over you, and they look at you and say, "Here we go." That's when they push a button and the table goes from laying flat to standing up. Now, when you have p.o.t.s, your body cannot adjust to the change of posture. Now, the more severe p.o.t.s you have, the worse the effects will be from that change. And so, if you have a less severe case, you'll be standing there, your heart will race out of your chest, your blood pressure will get low, which makes you feel really lightheaded, maybe even dizzy. Your head, like you get a pounding in your head, and it's just not fun. So that's one way that you can find out if you have POTS or not. So your autonomic nervous system, or ANS, are all the system that POTS eventually attacks. So your first autonomic nervous system is your heart, blood pressure, which of course affects is your veins, your inner workings. So that's one autonomic nervous system. So your heart and your blood pressure coincide. So when you have a low blood pressure, that affects your heart rate. If you have a fast heart rate, that's going to affect your blood pressure, of course. So that's one system. Another system that is changed when you have POTS is your temperature control. It's weird enough to say, but I don't feel the cold like most people do. When it's really hot, I will feel cold sometimes. It's just kind of my body can't decide whether it's hot or cold, or what to do to help that, change that. It just kind of gets very confused. Another autonomic nervous system is your digestive tract. So when you eat, your stomach naturally knows how to digest and push that food so it gets all out and everything. Not to be too descriptive or anything. So with POTS, your stomach is a bit confused on how to digest food. So myself, I definitely suffer a lot with my stomach. So when I eat something, my stomach decides that it's going to push blood to it to try and digest food, which causes severe nausea, abdominal swelling, and overall just discomfort and yuckiness. Your digestive tract symptoms can vary from patient to patient. Some people are to the extreme where they need a tube into their stomach to get food into them because their stomach is at the point where it just doesn't know how to work at all, which is unfortunate. And I've read a few blogs with women who do have feeding tubes, and it's very unfortunate, and my heart goes out to you. You are very, very strong to be able to live with that and still have a smile on your face, which is what all us POTSies really try hard to do. Is we're in this together, and we're gonna fight together, we're gonna relate to each other, and of course we're gonna smile and laugh about it. My POTS started to affect me at 14 years old. In grade 9, I had to, just over halfway through the year, I could no longer continue going to school. I'd take every ounce of energy I had to just get to school. And the first block of school, and that'd be it. I'd sleep for hours, and then I'd wake up and do it all over again. So I did eventually say, you know what, this is crazy. At the time, I didn't know what was wrong or what was going on, but I knew that I could no longer do that, so I did drop out of school. And with POTS patients, depending on how fast and how severe your symptoms onset, it is common that most of us in some way have been unable to continue school for the time being, whether that be high school or university, due to what age your onset was. The average onset age is 13 to 18. If you have what they're calling the genetic form, it attacks you younger. Other triggers for POT onset is pregnancy, so that affects another age group, as well as a traumatic injury or traumatic event, so like a car accident or something, has been shown to onset POTS in female patients, and I'm not too sure about male patients. Statistics and information is still quite all over the place, and they're learning things all the time. So, but again, there are different onsets, so we all have a different story. but we do all have the same symptoms, and it affects us all tremendously in life. What else to mention without writing a book? I guess I could say what most people wonder, what symptoms I live with day to day. So day to day, I have lots of fatigue, lack of energy. It takes probably me twice the effort than someone else to get just everyday things done. Like making the bed, that's quite a task, and I have to set aside a lot of energy to do that, even though I might not say it, but it's hard for me to actually make my own bed. Just the work that it takes when you don't really think that it would. Nausea, definitely, probably daily. Throughout the day, you'll have bouts of nausea. Headaches. I have headaches probably every day. It's weird when I don't have a headache, actually. What else? Oh, dizziness. Definitely dizziness. Due to low blood pressure and your fluctuating heart rate. If I'm laying down, it'll be like 90. And then if I stand up and walk up the stairs, my heart rate will go really fast, so that can cause me to be dizzy. If I'm sitting, it takes a bit to adjust to that, and then I'm fine sitting for a while. There's also a catch-22 with p.o.t.s. Now, this has taken me, probably, how long has it been now? It's been 5 years. It's probably taken me all of that 5 years to discover that p.o.t.s has a catch. You may feel like you want to lay down and need to lay down all day long because it makes you feel better. Well, I have learned when you do that, it makes you worse. If I lay down all day and then I decide to do something the next day, I pay huge. For the next few days afterwards, I will feel like I got hit by a truck. So it's kind of learning that balance. Like, you have to make sure that each day you have a goal to do one thing. Whether that be go get the mail, if your mailbox is not tremendously far. Maybe it's you decide that you go to the grocery store with a parent or a friend just to do something, right? It's definitely, you have to learn what's too much and what's too little. And when you find that, like, in between that works, your p.o.t.s can actually stay a bit more stable. It won't be so up and down and fluctuate tremendously. And I do try to suggest this to the p.o.t.s patients I have met. I have met 3 or 4 different people with p.o.t.s, all different types of severity. And I always am like, I know it's hard, but try to do something every day. And it can end up being an achievement too. Like this morning, I woke up feeling bad, but I went to the grocery store and hooray, I accomplished something today. And that's huge when you have p.o.t.s. And just learning that each little thing is an achievement with p.o.t.s is huge. p.o.t.s can be extremely isolating. It can be very lonely because there aren't many people with p.o.t.s here in Canada. And frankly, it makes a lot of us very sad, and it can bring on depression. I've suffered from depression due to p.o.t.s. It's a very unknown thing, and it's very frustrating knowing that your body doesn't work like how it was built to. Hopefully I haven't rambled on too much and you could follow what I was saying. Please comment any questions you have if something didn't make sense or you want me to elaborate something in my next video. Thanks.